Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to play Marvel Champions on your PC with the latest release of my game. If you're not familiar with Marvel Champions, or if you're not familiar with this PC implementation or want to know what's new in this release, I think this is the video for you. So I want to start with that most obvious thing here, which is new in 1.2.0, is that images are downloaded in the background. This is a game that has a lot of pictures. They're not included in the game by default. It has to download them from the internet, so it's going to do that in the background. And you can play while this happens. And I'm going to show you that right now is a single player game. So initially this is what the game looks like. So two things that should be important here is that the pictures are being downloaded, so it uses placeholders in the meantime. So now it's downloaded them and you can see it's just Spider-Man and Rhino. There are much more heroes and villains in this game, but I have this thing called Adventure Mode, which is the default in the game, in which you have to win games to unlock new heroes and new scenarios. I think it's a fun concept. But if you want to just play with all the heroes and the scenarios from the beginning, you can change that in the options. So I'm going to show you. I went back to the main menu. I'm going to Options, Gameplay, uncheck Adventure Mode, back, and Single Player Game again. And here I have all the heroes. Again, placeholders while the game is downloading the images. But now we have access to all the heroes and the scenarios if we wanted to. With that being said, what I wanted to do today is show you how unlocking heroes works. So I'm going to go back to just having Spider-Man and Rhino. So I'm going back to the options, gameplay, enabling adventure mode again, and doing my Spider-Man versus Rhino launch. So it's downloading some images in the background. While this is doing that, so this is a card game. You play as superheroes and you have to defeat a villain. In this case, I'm playing as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and I have to fight Rhino. The way you win the game is by taking the villain down to 0 life point. Currently he has 14. There is a catch here in that in most cases the villain actually has a second stage. So if you defeat stage 1, he's coming back stronger as stage 2, so you technically have to defeat him twice. How the villain wins, on the other hand, is either by taking you down to 0 life point, Peter Parker aka Spider-Man has 10 life points, or by completing his scheme. In this case, the break-in has a number 7 per hero here, meaning that if Rhino puts 7 threat counters on this card, I lose. At the very least, he's going to put 1 counter on it per turn. There are ways to remove those counters, and that's kind of the balance of the game, is doing enough damage to the villain, but also making sure you keep his scheme under control. Each hero has 2 faces. They have 2 sides. They have their alter ego side, in this case Peter Parker, and they have their superhero side, which for me right now would be Spider-Man. In general, you can switch between one side and the other at most once per turn. When and how you switch depends on the strategy of your gameplay. What's important to understand is that when you're in alter ego form, so in this case Peter Parker, the villain will generally not attack you and instead spend their turn putting threats on their scheme. Conversely, if you're in hero mode, they will not focus on their scheme and instead they will attack you. So again, there is a balance here whether you want to be in hero or alter ego form, depending on how much threat is on the main scheme and how much damage you have. Alter ego also has, in this case for Peter Parker, there is this number 3 here, which is recover. This is a way to heal yourself. I don't have any damage right now, so I don't need to heal myself. And you can see this thing here, Peter Resource 1. Peter Parker has one special ability, which is that he can provide 1 resource to pay for cards. And this is a good time to mention how cards are paid for in this game. You play cards and they all have a cost. In this case, Surveillance Team, for example, costs 2. Swinging Web Kick costs 3. That's the number at the top left of the card every time. And you usually pay for cards by discarding other cards from your hand. So there's this strategy as well here of saying, well, I can play this expensive card, but then there's a lot of other cards I cannot play. And also you have cards that provide additional resources. So in this case, I have Peter Parker that provides 1 additional resource. So I'm going to play Surveillance Team for 2 by using 1 resource from Peter and discarding 1 card. 1 resource from Peter and discard First Aid, which is a healing thing that I don't need right now because I don't have any damage. Now that I've used Peter Parker's resource and that I don't really need healing, it's a good time to switch to my superhero mode. So I'm switching to Spider-Man. Now that I'm in Spider-Man mode, you might have noticed that I can now play this swinging web kick thing, which is a powerful attack from Spider-Man. Probably his most powerful attack and one of the most efficient against Rhino, because it does 8 damage. So I'm going to play that to show you. I need to use 3 cards. So you would expect me to just select those 3 cards, but actually this card's strength here has 2 icons at the bottom left that it indicates that it can count as 2 resources. So for 3 resources, usually I would need 3 cards, but in this case I can use strength for 2, and I'm going to use great responsibility here for 1. So that's the icon. The amount of resource you get is the icon at the bottom left of the card. So I use 3 resources to pay for my swinging web kick, and now it's telling me who do you want to hit. So I want to hit Rhino for 8 damage. And he's now at 6 life. That's a pretty good first turn. I'm going to also attack him with Spider-Man. So Spider-Man and heroes in general have 3 characteristic here. They have the thwart, which is an ability to remove threat from the schemes. Attack, which is how much damage you can do with 1 attack. And defense, which is how much you can block damage before getting actual damage on you. Most of these abilities require you to what is called exhaust your character, which in Magic the Gathering would be tap it. So basically you can use those things only once per turn. So I'm going to use Spider-Man to attack Rhino for 2 damage. And now you can see he's exhausted. Surveillance Team lets me remove threat counters from schemes. The break-in right now has no scheme counter, threat counter, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to end my turn, and I can choose cards in my hand to discard, and then I will draw back to a full hand. I don't want For Justice right now, so I'm discarding it and drawing back to my full hand. It's Rhino's turn. First thing he does in his turn, no matter what, is that he's going to add 1 threat to his main scheme. Next, he attacks me. When Rhino attacks, you can see here it says interrupt. So let's look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man has an interrupt that says when the villain initiates an attack against you, draw 1 card. This is an optional interrupt. There are forced interrupts and optional interrupts in this game. Forced means you have to do it, and when it's not forced, it means it's optional. You don't have to do it. Drawing card is most of the case beneficial. It's very rare that you would not want to draw, but there is an option here to pass. Or you click on the card to activate the ability. So I'm going to click on Spider-Man to draw my card, my free card. Rhino attacks. I could block with Spider-Man using the 3 defense, so it's like a 3 shields compared to his attack of 2. But if I do that, that's going to exhaust my character, and my character doesn't exhaust until the end of my next turn, so I wouldn't be able to use my character if I block. I have 10 life points. He does an attack of 2 plus some additional potential damage. I think I can take it, so I'm not going to block. I'm hitting cancel. When the villain attacks, they get what is called a boost card, which is a face down card from their deck, and it can sometimes add damage to their attack, depending on the icons at the bottom right of that card. So we're going to see what it says. Yeah, it gave him +1. So I'm getting 3 damage from Rhino from his attack. After his attack, he reveals an encounter, which is usually a bad thing. And here it's a minion called Hydra Bomber, and it says when he's revealed, I choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I'm gonna put one threat on the main scheme. Hydra Bomber is probably one of the weakest minions. He's not a big deal. He only has 2 life here. You can see here the 2 in the orange circle. So I'm probably going to... Actually... So I was thinking of doing a swinging web kick to Rhino, but he only has 4 life, and doing an 8 damage attack on him is kind of wasted. I'd rather play Daredevil. Hold on, maybe there's something more clever. Okay, so I'm playing Web Shooter first. Web Shooter is a card that gives me resources for 3 turns. And now I'm playing Daredevil. Daredevil costs 4. I'm going to have 1 from the Web Shooter, 1 from Surveillance Team, and 2 from the Power of Justice. Because the Power of Justice is double the number of resources this card generates while paying for a yellow card. Daredevil is yellow. So he needs 4 resources. That's 1 from this guy, 2 from the Power of Justice, and 1 from Surveillance Team. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to keep swinging web kick for next turn. And do some damage on Rhino in the meantime. Let's see. I might want to clear things up a bit first. Yeah, okay. Daredevil is good at thwarting it. He can remove 2 counters per thwart, and then when he does that, he does 1 extra damage to an enemy of my choice. So I'm going to do 1 damage to Rhino. And I'm going to destroy the Hydra Bomber with Spider-Man. I'm keeping my swinging web kick. Going to the next turn, and my hope is to do enough damage to Rhino next turn. So do I want to block? I don't want to block. Oh. Okay, 4 damage. So I have 3 life remaining. That's getting into dangerous territory. The villain schemes. So he's going to add threat to the main scheme. It's not the best timing for that. So he adds 2 threat. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna thwart with Daredevil, do 1 damage on Rhino, and then with an attack from Spider-Man I'm gonna do 2 damage again. That's gonna kill him, and he's gonna come back in as stage 2. Next stage. So he's back. Rhino level 2 has a few things he does. First, he's revealing a specific side scheme here, breaking and taking, which gives him an additional encounter card at the end of his turn. He also does more attack, 3 attacks instead of 2. So, breaking and taking has 3 threat here, but also it deals 1 more encounter card during the villain phase. That's a pretty big deal. It's a problem, and it has 3 threat. To get rid of this thing, which is a side scheme, I have to take its threat down to 0. Apologies. So I have Surveillance Team that lets me remove 1 threat. I can play Black Cat. When she comes into play, she lets me discard 2 cards and then potentially retrieve some back in my hand. But no. Okay. So I have the swinging web kick, which is good. I'm gonna play that. Black Cat is good at attacking, not so good at thwarting. She does 1 in both cases, but if she attacks, Yeah, I forgot if I mentioned that, but when allies attack or thwart, they get something called consequential damage, which is they take damage for every action they do. Black Cat has an exception in that she doesn't take consequential damage when she attacks. That is symbolized by the tiny star below her actions. Under thwart, she has one tiny star-shaped thing, and under attack, she doesn't. Daredevil has that star under his thwart and under his attack, meaning he takes consequential damage. Okay, so breaking and taking is a problem now because it's going to bring 2 encounters during the enemy's turn, and that can go pretty fast. So he adds 1 threat at the beginning of his turn to his main scheme, and now he attacks me. I get to draw 1 card, and now I need to choose somebody to block. I think Black Cat's gonna take it. I need Daredevil to thwart the breaking and taking thing, and I'm at 3 lives, so it's not the best for me right now. She takes 4 damage. And now he reveals 2 encounters. So, he revealed 2 cards. The first one was Armored Rhino Suit, which is a damage soaking thing. He's gonna soak 5 damage before I can do damage to him again. The second one is called Stampede, and it just means he's gonna attack me again. I don't want that to happen, and I do have here a card that lets me prevent this card, so I'm gonna do that. It's called Enhanced Spider Sense, and lets me cancel the when revealed effects. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so first thing first, we want to get rid of breaking and taking because 2 encounters a turn is really dangerous. So I'm going to thwart with Daredevil, getting rid of breaking and taking, and when Daredevil thwarts, he can do 1 damage. That damage is going to get soaked up by the Rhino Suit. I'm gonna play Web Shooter and Webbed Up. Webbed Up is great. It's gonna stun him for a few turns. I can use Surveillance Team to reduce the threat. I can attack him. That's getting soaked up by this thing here. So normally I would Normally I would switch to Alter Ego form to heal, but he has 6 life remaining. He's stunned for 2 turns thanks to Webbed Up, so I think I can keep going as a hero. So he initiates attack here, but Webbed Up is going to prevent his attack. And it stuns him for the next turn, so he's not going to be able to attack next turn. But then again, he revealed Assault, which is that he attacks me. So the stun is going to prevent that, but then it means he attacks next turn again. So, let's see. I think I should boost my damage. So this is combat training, which gives me +1 attack. You can see here that I have 3 attack now. I used to have 2. Okay, so I probably need to attack him and then switch to Alter Ego form to... So his armor soaked up 5 damage. Now I can do damage. He's at 3 life, but I'm at 3 life as well. So I'm going to switch to Alter Ego form. Heal myself maybe. depending on what he does. I'm just hoping he doesn't get to 7 threat. It can go quick. He's at 2 right now. I'm gonna prevent 1 of that threat. He's at 4. Okay, I think we're good. I don't even need to heal. I'm gonna go back to Spider-Man form and just do a massive attack here with swinging web kick. Alright. So I defeated Rhino and unlocked a new character, which is Iron Man. And now if I go here, you can see that I can choose between Iron Man and Spider-Man. And this is how you unlock a hero in this game. Thank you.